Hey y'all, this is Wheredjgoes, and this is finally Finland, and the other countries that make up the beautiful Scandinavia too. Fun fact for anyone that hasn't had to listen to me for the last 20 plus years, but Finland has always been my number one on my travel bucket list.
Hyllan så att inget bagage faller ut. Kontrollera gärna att du inte har glömt någonting ombord. Rökning är tillåten först när du har kommit till ett rökområde. Du som lämnar ditt bagage utanför flygplanet före start, ställ med dig bagaget igen innan du går till terminalen. Var försiktig när du stiger ut ur planet och trappan ner är brant. Vi vill säga tack för att du flyger med oss på SAS, Starlines och CityJet och vi ser fram emot att se dig ombord hos oss igen och önskar dig en fortsatt trevlig dag. Tack för denna gången och välkommen tillbaka till oss.
As it turns out, my love for Finland and my sisu began long before I ever knew, as I'm actually 50% Finn. My mom is third generation American-born 100% Finlander. And this beautiful little lady right here in the middle is my iso Aiti Ida, my great-grandma Ida, with her sisters and my great-great-grandpa Andrew. It's believed that he came over when he was just 17. And while we aren't aware of any relatives who still reside in Finland, I did get the chance while in Sweden to meet two cousins, or well, some kind of cousins or something. We're still a little unsure on all the titles, but it was an experience of a lifetime to get to meet them both. And just getting to see Finland. From the moment that I landed, I was greeted with signs that I was at home. We spent 4 days in Finland, and we drove through a lot of it. We even drove through the little town of Kajärvi, where my great-great-grandma was born. And I'm pretty sure it's close to where my Finnish bud Marcus lives. Y'all might recognize him from my video in the Netherlands and our show with Jake Orvis and the guys. If not, check that one out next. All 4 days in Finland were spent driving from one part of the country to the next. And at one point, we were so far northwest, I spotted Russian license plates. And I also saw all those years ago, all those Finlanders chose the Northwoods of Wisconsin to call home. Because Oulu, Wisconsin and Oulu, Finland both have a piece of my heart. When we got to Oulu, we had missed the Northern Lights by a night. But that didn't stop us from walking around the park and taking a look for ourselves anyway. But y'all already know, sometimes that's just the way it goes. Wheredjgoes. But I did come across something else out there that reminded me of home. Because just like Oulu Rock, they have Oulu Rock in Finland. And on the other side of it was this cool statue that I couldn't find any information out about. Y'all, Bob Wayne and I had a blast clowning around Finland together. But to be honest, most of the highlights were the little things that hit home for me. Like the tablecloth at the diner that we played, that was made from the same cloth as a grocery sack, gifted by one of my Finn relatives on a visit a few years back. Or my heart-shaped donut from Arnold's. Y'all that know. And hitting the Finnish jackpot was a nice touch. And you can't go wrong with the world's best tap water. Found out even the Finns love them some Dolly. And y'all, I'll never forget the Helsinki Chinese buffet and how hard that we laughed afterwards. It was still early enough into the COVID that masks on the statues were still funny. And as we go into the new year, I pray for a world that allows open travel again someday. Because y'all, I can't wait to go back to Finland. Those views from those flights, they were like something I'd never seen before. And if y'all ever get the chance to fly over any part of Scandinavia, do it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. To be a fire sign, I sure love me some water views. Well, except for a few times. Like those EU ferries. If y'all have seen that video, you know it wasn't always smooth sailing. Especially in Sweden. Y'all don't tell Bob, but Sverige, it ended up being pretty special to me. It's where I got to meet my two cousins. And Bob built me my sprinter fort in a Swedish snowstorm. And it brought us out to this amazing island, Erland, on the other side of this almost 4-mile-long bridge. The island was settled about 8,000 BC, but there's evidence of habitations as early as 6,000 BC. And what I didn't realize at the time was that I was actually driving right by clearly visible prehistoric burial sites from the Iron and Viking Ages. But I missed the Viking stone ship. What I did get to experience, though, was what really makes Olin special. Because on Super Bowl Sunday, we played to a packed house at Karlas Cafe. Not only did we have an amazing show, but they went right after my little Texan heart, y'all. True Texan barbecue in Sweden with brisket, ribs, and even sweet baby rays. Paired with some yummy wine and some great company. Because, y'all, the best souvenirs are the friendships picked up while we're out living our best life. And I cherish the friendship that I made with those three in that kitchen that night. I paid for it the next day, though, y'all. So Mika and Bob had to go out to the barn to shoot the B-Dub video without me. And I stayed in bed and took in the views. And the only thing to get me back out of bed was some of Carla's delicious cooking. Because, y'all, Karlas Cafe is on another level. I'll never forget my first bacon wrap date. Or my friends Carla, John, and Mika. Or meet my family from another continent. Or just my time spent in Sweden. But Sweden was only part of our tour around Scandinavia. We played a ton of shows, but we actually even got to catch a few. Like the time we went up in Denmark to play the Northern Winter Beats Fest, and looking for parking, we happened along a David Eugene Edwards show. And if you don't know him yet, you're welcome.
Oh, a slim girl among his flock of sheep. Lays brilliant backwards, rest assured.
And when we were in Norway, we played in Halden and Oslo with the same band 2 nights in a row. So I got to make some new friends.
My only friend.
And so this is where I picked up my sayings, devil in hell and 5 fan. And speaking of hell, I went to where hell freezes over. Literally. Hell, Norway. It was so far north that we had to put a pause on van life and catch a flight. Then we drove even further into Trondheim, where I got a history lesson and saw my first fjord. And y'all, it might have been cold, but it was worth it. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, really. You can go deep sea. You can go deep sea fishing right here, like you're out in the middle of the ocean.
If you go 10 minutes, you have a couple of.
Yeah, right. So that's the Trondheim fjords. So this is really deep here.
Y'all, I may never have heard of fjords or of Trondheim, but I'm never going to forget them. Although, admittedly, I did see most of it from the car windows. It was great.
That
Like
in the
Wheredjgoes.
1600s.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it was warm, and I pretty much had my own 2 personal tour guides right there in the car with me. But Bob did have to go ice skating on his own, because, y'all, I needed a nap. I did take a moment the next day to slip away by myself, just to walk around town, down by the marina, enjoying my coffee. And speaking of slip, right over there, that's where I busted and spilled my coffee, going to check out that statue, which was worth it and so beautiful. It was in memory of the thousands of seamen who gave their lives in the world wars, and it reminded me how lucky I am to be here, and how fortunate I am to see Wheredjgoes. Because 2020 has been the craziest year for all of us, y'all. But I am so thankful for it, and for all of you. This is my last official video from my tour across Europe, on an attempted world record-breaking music tour with Bob Wayne. But this isn't the last you've seen of Wheredjgoes. Y'all hit subscribe to see the surprise I have in store for 2021. Oh yeah, and Hesburger is life.
Lifestyle. V2 Lifestyle. V2 Lifestyle. Help me out. V2 Lifestyle.
Alright, well, that's it. Havasti, y'all.